Right then, a Druidic wand. This one's interesting. Okay, this one is a bit different. I've been doing a lot of bowls lately and I just want to do something different for you. Right, now, as some of you know, I frequently get asked to turn very strange things. Right, and about 6 months ago, I had somebody come to me who's a Druid. Now, for those who don't know, the Druidic religion and the Wiccan religion is quite big in Ireland. Right? There's an awful lot of people who practice it, and it's up to them. Right? I don't judge people. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But the wand had very specific requirements, right? Basically, they'd seen some of my videos and they wanted to amalgamate some stuff that they'd seen, right? So what they wanted was bog oak, some of the 5,000-year-old bog oak that I have, and they wanted antler, all combined into one wand, right? And they were very specific on how they wanted it done. They had seen this video here, I'll put a link up there to it, where I had basically made a hollow handled wand and put a feather inside of it, but they didn't want the feather in it. They wanted to kind of personalize the wand by putting herbs and stuff in it. Apparently it's a thing in Druidism, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which I probably haven't. So what I did them the wand, they were delighted with it, and I said to myself afterwards, I should have videoed that because it's something different. But something I don't do is I very rarely video commissions unless the person asks for it. Right, so this one is, I'm just going to do the wand again just to show it to you, because as I said, I thought it was very interesting. Right, so the first thing I need to do is the deer antler, because that's the handle of the wand. Right, and what I did was I got my largest drill bit, which was the one for fountain pens, for the tops of fountain pens. Right, and I drilled out the center of a piece of antler, and I'm going to do that now. Now I need to square off that end of that antler. So I will grab my live center with the cone bit in it, with the cone on it. Put the cone in there to keep it straight. Now we're just going to square off that end of the antler. Look at that. So it's cut and square. It is. I'm going to take that last little bit off. Very gently. Right, so that's the square end of the antler. Right, drilled and squared up. Right. Now, the next piece is I need to sort out the end of this antler that isn't squared up. Right, now I have the mandrel I used on the other one. I still have it. So use that one, it's handy. So we slipped that onto the mandrel. And square up that end. Same thing again, basically. Just I want to square up the ends of it. I want everything square to the hole that's there. Right. There's that completely squared up. Now, the next piece I need to do is the pit at the end, the, what would you call it? Cork, basically. Right, and I have a small piece of bog oak for this. Last time I did this, it took me 3 attempts to get this piece to actually stay together. Because bog oak is not the greatest thing for actually staying together unless it's been stabilised. If you're actually using bog oak and you want to stabilise it, there's stuff called cactus juice which is very good for it. I don't use it because basically I don't have a pressure pot, and you need a pressure pot to do bog oak. Right, now I'm just going to round this down. Now I'm going to put on the helmet for doing this, because as I said, this stuff is 5,000 years old. I don't want to be breathing in dust from it. I've got my calipers, and I want to measure the width of the hole. I want to go slightly bigger because I want to come down to the size of the hole, because I want this to be tight. Yeah, that's good. So put the mantle back on. Put the deer antler back on. Put the plug in. And I brought the mantle. Right, I'm going to have to make another mandrel, and I'll be back in a sec. Right then, your new mandrel just about made. It's still slightly tight. There we go. Right, new mandrel made. And this time, I'll put the plug in first. Right then. Now we're back to where we're supposed to be. Yeah, put the handle back on. Now we start turning this down to match. Now I'm only going to work on this end of the handle because I want the other end to match as well. All I'm trying to do is get a good transition between the antler and the bog oak. That is a good transition. It's tight and it's clean. Right, now we're going to start shaping this bog oak a little. What I got to keep in mind is the size of the hole that's in there, that I don't cross it over. Right. Black is going slightly down, slightly up, yeah, that's what I want. Now the detail gouge. Start doing the shape at the bottom of this. Is it gone? Break that off. Right. And then neaten up the end of this. Right. You're going to do that with sandpaper, because that mandrel is not as tight as the one I used. It's got all over my head. Right, I'm going to finish shaping that with sandpaper, but I'm going to try and make that a little bit tighter to do it. The last mandrel I had was absolutely perfect size-wise. This one is slightly small. Right, now I'm going to finish shaping that with sandpaper, because it's as I said, that mandrel is not perfect. Use the new addition. Right, now as I said, I'm going to finish shaping that with sandpaper. Right then, just finished doing this end of it. And it came out quite nice. Right, now what we'll do is we'll put that bit away until I need it next. Right, so we put that away until I need it, and we go on to the rest of this wand. Now all I want to do at the moment is round this off and put a tenon on this end that will fit into there, because I need the whole wand together for when I'm actually doing the wand. Right, yeah, we'll take the whole thing off, put the mandrel back on, the handle on the mandrel, and put the whole thing back between centers again. And now we can go on shaping the wand itself. Right, first thing we do is round that off. Now it's all rounded to the axis it's on. hopefully it stays together. Right. We're going to re-age this. As I said, everything, because of the bog oak, is slow and deliberate. We're going up to 1600 now. I may not be talking much during this one because concentration levels have to be really high. Slight blowout of a piece there. This one might not make it. I'm going to fill that with CA and sawdust because I don't think it will make it otherwise. Alright then, that should be dry by now. We keep going. As I said, I'm not 100% sure this one is actually going to make it. Sorry, bump the camera. Very delicate. I can feel the gouge hitting voids. This catches once, it's gone. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down and I'm going to round this off so that if I do happen to get that blade down to size, that it's not going to have the shock of this going through it. So the last time I did this, it took me 3 shots to get it because of the same problems. And it went. Yeah, I thought that might go actually. Right. Let's see if we can CA that back together and go again. I said working with this bog oak can be difficult, and as I said, it took me 3 times the last time. So we'll CA that together, clamp it, and I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, won't hold. Right, then that won't hold. Right then, so that won't hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap it out for a piece of standard oak, just for the video, so that there's something at the end of it. let me take that off. And go through the same steps again. Put the tenon on it and stuff. And I'll be back when I have that done. Right then, we're back to where we were. But this time using a piece of standard oak. Sorry the bog oak one didn't work out, but stuff like this happens. And as I said when I started this channel, if something goes wrong, I'll show it. So at least the idea behind the design for this is in the video. Jump there. Right, I need to sharpen this. What I'll do is I'll put the same design into the blade, well, into the entire one that I put in that other one. Give you an idea what it looks like. Slightly low. It's better. Right. Basically the one I did had a very long top to it, tip. This is the way it was requested. Slightly high now. Keep tipping that camera with the helmet. Right, and it had the bone design here. Now we work on this transition and the handle. Let's check that transition. Yeah, transition looks okay. Now we do the handle. Somewhat of the bone thing. Right, now those cuts aren't good because what's happened is the mandrel is actually gone. Yeah, the mandrel is actually gone. So in order to do this properly, I'm going to have to redo that mandrel. I'll do that and I'll be back in a sec. Right then, and we're back again. New mandrel done. Now, we'll get this handle done properly this time. Much more solid. So continue the bone theme down into the handle. don't want to do is touch it down there, because that is matching up with the piece that I have ready to go. Right then, I will sand that, and I'll be back in a sec for the Yorkshire Grit Bit. So, see you in a minute. Alright then, doing the Yorkshire Grit on this bit, on this now. Do you know something? I think that the bloody Druids put a curse on me that I couldn't produce that one on video. That's my story and I'm sticking to it anyway. Right, this week's Yorkshire Grit Bit is the legend of the Abhartach. Right, now, the Abhartach is the Irish vampire legend, and it's quite probable it's where Bram Stoker first heard of the vampire legends, which lit the spark to make him write Dracula. Right. A piece of the legend seems to have gone into the book, where you need a wooden stake to kill a vampire. Yeah, now, anyway, enough of the theory. Back to the legend of the Abhartach. Right. As the legend goes, there was an evil king in Derry, in a townland called Slagbattery. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not 100% sure. Right. Now, this king, as his name suggests, Abhartach, it means dwarf in Old Irish, was bitter and petty and very, very, very small. Right. It was said that he was a practitioner of wizardry who absolutely hated his people. Right. He was also a very jealous man who suspected his wife was having an affair, which, by the sounds of him, who could blame her? One night while he was spying on his wife, he slipped and fell to his death from a high window. Now, the people were quite happy about this, right? But, as tradition demanded, he was buried according to his status. He was buried standing up in his grave, so he could walk the afterlife. Right. The next night, though, he came back from the dead and went to the households in his kingdom, demanding a bowl of blood from the wrists of the people who lived there. He also made the demand that he get the same meal every night. Right. Now, where am I? Right. The people were fearful of their dead king, of course. Right. And they were so scared they complied with his wishes. Right. Some who were brave enough approached a nearby king named Cahan. Now, back then, there were small kingdoms in Ireland, each one with a king, and basically this guy was the next door kingdom over. Right. They approached Cahan to kill the Abhartach. Right. To which he agreed. So that night, he killed the Abhartach by stabbing him through the heart with a sword, and then again buried him in the correct manner, standing up. The next night, the Abhartach again crawled from his grave, this time in a foul and vengeful mood, demanding his meal of a bowl of blood from his subjects. The people again called on Cahan to kill him, which he did, and again placed him in his grave. But again, the next night, the Abhartach rose to feed. Now, Cahan was at a total loss when he heard this. How could a man who'd been killed 3 times possibly be walking the earth? So he sought the advice of a powerful Druid, who told him that the Abhartach was already dead and couldn't be killed like a normal man. The Druid told Cahan that in order to kill the Abhartach, he must be stabbed through the heart with a sword made from the wood of a yew tree, and then buried upside down in his grave with a large stone on top, to make it difficult for him to get out. But with the Druids solution, there came a warning that if the stone was ever removed, that the Abhartach would again walk the lands looking for his bowl of blood. Right, the next night, this is what Khan did, and the Abhartach was never seen again. The supposed grave of the Abhartach, which you can actually go to, can still be found in the locality. And according to folklore, a number of years later, someone tried clearing the land where the grave stands. Now, on this grave, there's also a big hawthorn tree, which is the sacred tree of Ireland, and it was planted there again to keep the Abhartach down. Right. Now, when the workers went to cut the tree down, the chainsaw broke 3 times. As soon as it touched the wood, the chainsaw just broke. So what they did was they tried to move the stone, and they put this massive chain around it and tried to pull it away. But as they tried to move it, the chain broke, and it cut the hand of one of the workers. Right. Now, according to the legend, now this is a local legend, as soon as the blood hit the ground, it just seeped straight into it, not leaving a trace on the surface. Right. And there was a sound, a groan heard, and of course the workmen ran. And nobody since then has ever tried to clear that land. And as I said, if you Google the Abhartach, I'll put the spelling here, you can find about this local legend of the workmen. And see what you think yourself. Right, so I'll continue doing this, and I'll be back when it's done. So, see you in a sec. Right, and there we have it, a Druidic wand. Not the one I set out to do because of the problem with the bog oak here. The last time I did it, because it was for a client, I didn't mind doing the bog oak 2 or 3 times until I got it. But for the sake of a video, I'm not using bog oak just for that. It's too rare. Right. That piece will go to Sean, as will any of the shavings that came out. Which is what happens when I use bog oak. Sean is a friend who does bog oak and resin pens, and any offcuts or anything goes to him. As I said, when you're doing something like, if you're doing something like this that's in more than one pieces, a wand, a bowl, anything, the transitions are the important pieces. You've got to get them smack on. So if you enjoyed that one, if you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video. And again, sorry about not getting the bog oak one done, but stuff happens. As I said, I think the Druid probably cursed me not to do it on video. So I'll see you in the next one.